Good morning from the garden. It's the 27th of April today, and that means it's the Dutch King's birthday. It's a national holiday, but today at breakfast we were talking about how nice it is to live in a country where you're free to choose what you do on a day like this. So instead of participating in festivities, you can choose to spend the day gardening. That's what we'll be doing today, and we want to show you a couple of things that we have going on in the garden at the moment. The first thing I'm going to do is plant out some lettuce plants that I sowed on the 20th of March. And if you watched my video about my 18 goals for this gardening season, then you know that one of them was to do a lettuce trial. So this is what I'll be doing in this bed. We grow several varieties of lettuce every year, but this year I want to grow 8 different ones side by side so that I can compare their productivity and taste. Like all our beds, this one was amended with 2 wheelbarrows of our homemade compost, and I'll be putting in 5 plants of each of the 8 varieties. I'm spacing them. Our bed is 1 meter 20 centimeters wide, and there are 5 plants in a row, so they're about 24 centimeters apart, which is almost 10 inches. And because I want the bed to look pretty as well as be productive, I'm alternating the different hues. Like here, this one is purple. This is a purple variety called Rubens, and then I'll be putting in Amish deer tongue, which is green, and so on. So this is one of the plants. It has nicely developed roots. So with this weather, the weather we're having now, quite warm and nice amount of rain, it should just shoot up. And after planting, I'll be mulching the bed with cocoa shells, which is an excellent mulch material. It helps to prevent slug damage. It prevents weed growth. The downside is that it is quite expensive. Another of the trials of this year is a spinach trial, or trial of an extra early sowing of spinach. And you can now really see the difference and the benefits of doing that, because these plants were sown inside on a windowsill on the 18th of January, and I planted them out about 2 months later on the 23rd of March. And you can see they're really healthy looking. We have already started picking from them. In comparison, this is spinach that was sown directly. It is the same variety, Winterreuzen or Winter Giant. I think it's a Dutch variety. And these were sown in March. I would have liked to plant out these a little earlier, but we had a very cold weather, unusually cold weather in March, so that meant I had to postpone the planting and also the direct sowing of these. And even though I covered them with fleece after planting and sowing, you can see they're much smaller, and also they're really struggling with slug damage. So I put a little coffee grounds around these, so I think that helped. I will put some around the newly sown plants, but the conclusion of the trial in any way is it really pays to take the trouble and pre-sow them inside and plant them out later. I have also sown some spinach, the same variety, directly in the greenhouse on the 21st of February, and the plants really grew beautifully and fast, and we were able to start harvesting from them earlier than from the spinach outside. But because the temperatures here rise really fast as soon as it gets a bit warmer, you can see that the spinach is already starting to bolt. So comparing all the 3 plantings and sowings, I think the best way to do it is to sow on the windowsill in January and then plant out the plants, and I think that those will give us the best harvest. Now I want to show you a different part of the garden. It is a part of the garden that we have not really filmed before, and I call it my permaculture cottage garden. It is a mixed planting of edibles and ornamentals, But even for the edible plants here, I try to choose varieties that have an added ornamental value, like the red-fleshed apple here. It is a variety called Calypso, and it is flowering for the first time, so we hope to taste the fruits in the fall. They should be red-fleshed, and if we get fruits, I will share more then. But as you can see, it is, even now when it's flowering, it's really pretty. It has these dark leaves and dark pink blossom as well. And I tried to match the color of the blossom here with the tulips that I planted around it. There are 3 pink varieties called Menton, Mistress and Mariette. Mariette is this lily flowered one that is going over now. And there is another tulip here, the orange one, which is called Princess Irene, after one of the members of the Dutch royal family. Of course, we have more tulips elsewhere. I have also underplanted my peach and apricot trees with tulips, and here too the idea was to have the flowering of the tulips coincide with the flowering of the fruit trees, but unfortunately, because apricot and peach are the earliest flowering fruit trees, they have long finished flowering. Nevertheless, the tulips are beautiful and we're enjoying them right now. There are 7 different varieties in mostly in different shades of pink, apricot, peach, kind of. And I want to show you a few of my favorites. This tulip is called Mistress Grey, and as you can see, it is pink with lavendel and a little grey around the edges, almost silver. It is quite a new variety. I think it's really beautiful, the combination of the colors. Another of my favorites here is this tulip called Sanne, in combination of pink and apricot, and it is a lily flower tulip, as you can see, which is my favorite type of tulip. I think I'll be adding more of these into the planting here. The last tulip that I want to highlight is Menton, which is pink with a little orange around the edges. They're also quite large flowered. The last thing I want to share with you today is our apricot tree, which has little fruits on it. And I'm super excited about that because apricots are difficult to grow in our climate. They're susceptible to frost because of their early flowering. So planting a tree here really was a gamble. We tried to take some steps to ensure, to give us a bigger chance of success, like planting a variety which is relatively frost resistant. It's called Kioto, and also we planted the tree close to the pond, which acts as which accumulates warmth, and hopefully that could help protect the tree in case of a frost. So far so good. Fingers crossed, we'll be tasting our first apricots this year. So that was a little update from the garden. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Happy gardening!